Hi Greedy 3Ds, today we're going to be making this. This is the B1 Battledroid from Star Wars. I'll show you it start to finish. Make sure you stay tuned.
Assassination protocols online. Roger, roger.
I'm going to print a huge chunk of this on the Bamboo Labs A1. I was a little unsure whether this orientation would actually produce something that worked, but let's give it a go anyway, using slimline tree supports. And over to the printer, I'm using some of the Jam J wood filament purely because I had a little bit left lying around, and it seems to be doing a lovely job. The weird thing with this stuff is as it's printing, you can smell what smells like burning wood. Really weird. To do the neck piece, I went into Mesh Mixer and I cut it in half because I thought it would just be easier to put it on the build plate, because this piece is a funny old shape. So there it is again, cut in half, and I've got it in two separate pieces, again slimline tree supports, and it printed absolutely beautifully. I just love the way as well with this wooden filament that the supports just fall away. The printer, the A1, is just absolutely marvellous, and I thoroughly enjoy using it because things just work. Putting it back together, it was a simple case of super glue. I haven't showed you me pulling my fingers off it for about 3 or 4 times, but rest assured I can't get into any banking apps at the moment because my fingerprints are well and truly gone and vanished. I just lined it up as best I could with the super glue, and I used a couple of clamps just to hold it in position, just to keep it nice and flat. If you've never used Mesh Mixer, it's pretty simple to use. There are other ways you can cut things in half, but I always seem to end up going back to Mesh Mixer to do it. There's plenty of tutorials out there, but it's really simple to do it. I've printed some of the stuff on my GK3 Ultra purely because these details are quite fine and some smaller pieces. And not only that, getting some of these to print in PLA, although it's feasible and possible, of course it is. I had the printer, I had the resin, I thought I would just go for it and mix things up a little bit. And there is the GK3 Ultra doing its thing. Everything's printing really well. I've had no problems with my GK3 Ultra. I know not everyone can say that, but I've had a really good journey with mine, and there it is. Everything has printed, and to get it off, all I've done is I've heated up the bits and pieces with a hairdryer just to loosen some of the supports. And when you do that, you find that the supports just literally fall away. I sliced everything in Chitu box, and I just used their standard supports, and it's done the job. I hollowed a lot of the pieces as well, because to save a little bit of resin, but then we're left with the problem of the holes. And we're also left with the problem of filling those holes and draining them out. The second part I printed in PLA, but I ran out of the wood filament, so I finished it off in this brown, and it's really good actually because you can't even see where they join apart from obviously the colour. Now, I've heard a lot about these foot sanders, and I've seen other people use them on Tinterweb to do some of their sanding. It's basically a corn sander for your feet, but I've got to be honest, although it's a 60 grit paper and that's pretty much all that came with it, it's really good, and it made the sanding of this absolutely easy. Holding it was a bit of a drama at first because I've never used it before, but once I got into the hang of it, this thing saved me a load of times. I'll put a link in the description where I got it from. I think it cost about 30 quid-ish, something like that. Might have been a bit more, I can't remember. But these foot sanders are the way forward when you are sanding your PLA. They did a really good job, and it just made life a little bit more easy. It's got an adjustable speed setting on it and an on and off, and away you go. And the pads attached to it with a little sticky back. I've gone up to a 180 grit on one of these little sanding pads, and I'm just going to smooth it over a little bit more all over. There weren't too many layer lines on it, to be honest, but there were a few on there, so this sanding has done the trick. I also used the foot sander on the resin parts because I found it really easy to get into the certain shapes and areas of it. And I also used some of this this UV putty, and I have done a whole video on this which I'll try and link in the description, to fill the holes where I've made sure of course that they are fully drained. And I've used this UV putty on, put it on, stuck it in my curing station for about 10 minutes, and that cured it solid, and then you can just sand away. The trouble if you use things like wood filler or some kind of other filler is you have to wait for it to dry. Well, this, as soon as it's cured, it's ready to go, and you're ready then to sand it and back out with the foot sander, and it's got that off a dream, no problem at all. Still, obviously it's a 60 grit, I need to bring it down a little bit more, so I'm using that pad with 180 grit sandpaper on there. The thing I did with this little bit here, there were some ridge lines on it, so I've just used a little bit of wood filler purely because I had some lying around. Popped it on, let it set for 24 hours, back out with, you guessed it, the foot sander, and I just smoothed that off, and that got rid of the lines really well. So wood, I like to use lots of little things, and whatever I've got lying around I use it, and in this case it was that wood filler, and it's done the job remarkably. Of course, dropping up the level of the sandpaper to make sure that you can give it a really smooth finish. And again, this is 180 grit at this stage. I'm going to do a little bit more, and I'm going to take it up to about 1,000, but at this stage it's 180 grit. Super glue is all I used to glue the two pieces together. It was as simple as that. Put some glue on, hold them together, and the other thing I like to have lying around is some super glue activator, because this thing is a game changer. If you've never used it, it's really good because you haven't got to sit and hold things until they settle. It will just glue instantaneously, so you've got to make sure you're in the right position, you haven't got your fingers attached to it. Once I'd done that, of course, I got all the dust off, took it outside onto the Greedy 3D painting bin, and I've used some of this high coat filler primer to give it a blast across. I'm going to do some more sanding on it, but at this stage I wanted to make sure that I've got rid of as many layer lines as I can. So I just gave it a coating all the way across. I pretty much used about half a can on the first coat, left it 15 minutes, and when it had dried I gave it another coat. So I've given it a few coats, and then I let it sit for 24 hours to be nice and hard. I gave everything a coat of this filler primer, as you can see there, and that will really highlight any of the areas that you need to do a little bit more work on. That's one of the reasons you do it. Secondly, you do it so that your paint sticks on it. Up to 1,000 grit now, and I'm just going to go over stuff just to smooth them out, just to shine them up a little bit, and if there's any layer lines left, this stuff will just knock them away. I bought this kit from Temu. I'll see if I can put a link in the description for it. It was really cheap, and you get loads of sandpaper, all different grits. I thought at this point I was going to glue things together. When last time I made one of these a long time ago, I didn't put like a dowel in the hole there, and that thing kept falling off. Every time it sort of tipped over, it fell off, and when I knocked it over, they fell off. So I put some dowels in to hold it, and I've super glued the dowels in, and I've super glued those little antenna things in there, and yep, activator just to get them gluing a darn sight quicker. And I've used these bolts that I found lying around. Again, I like to keep everything I can to put the neck into the base and screw it in. So I've got some movement on the neck, but it's nice and firm. The neck part was printed again on the A1. And now for the colour. Almond Rust-Oleum is what I found to be the best colour. Now, when you watch the movies, these things change colour often, depends which movie you watch. So I found this colour to be a really good colour for the Battledroid. Now, if you've got a better suggestion, I'm really happy to hear what you guys use. But for me, I think this one is absolutely perfect. It's not matte, it's a little bit shiny, but I can cope with that. I can deal with that okay. And I gave everything a coat over with the Rust-Oleum Almond. And then I moved on to Tinkercad to make this little sign here. So I made this myself just with a few things pulled together. And what I want to do here is take this across to my A1. I've coloured in the Star Wars B-Series Battledroid in white. And I'm going to print this on the A1, and it's going to look really lovely. So really easy to use different colours on the AMS on your A1s, which again, there's loads of videos out there to show you how to do that. And that's what I've ended up with. There is a wonderful sign for my Battledroid. It'll just set it off beautifully. Really chuffed with that. Now, assembly was relatively straightforward, and all I used really was some super glue and some super glue activator to get the whole thing together. What I used for the joint sections, the little parts in the compressor bits, the hydraulic-y bits, was I used some toothpicks as the main bar to go through them, and I glued the rest of it in place around that, but I made sure that when I put the toothpicks through, I only glued the ends of them so the whole thing was able to turn and twist, which gives you mobility on the Battledroid head. Now, I've used toothpicks because they're not really it's not an area that you need to use something strong and metallic. If you've got metallic bits, if you've got metal bits, if you've got some tiny little screws with some screw nuts and bolts on it, yeah, absolutely fine. But I hadn't got them, so I did what we do best in this game, and that's improvise. Mind out flying toothpick, and I glued just the ends, as I said, of those toothpicks. The glue didn't go into the rotational bits or the bits that are going to need to move, just the ends to hold them in place. And that was easy. It wasn't difficult to do. It was relatively simple, just took a little bit of time and effort, and once it's together, it's ready to go. You'll notice with the head, once it's all together, you can move it forward and backwards and left and right, and the weight sits on the neck part as well. If you get the head into the right position, it just balances perfectly and you don't need to worry about it falling over. I glued the little plaque in place, just again with a little bit of super glue and activator. I wanted that in place so it just stands out and shows off the Battledroid, and that was on there easy enough. And all I did next then was moved over to the paint station. You need to paint the eyes black, and so a little bit of matte black paint and a little bit of care, and the eyes were done. I thoroughly enjoyed this stage because this was the last stage now. Everything else had been done, all the hard work had been done. This is the fun part. Take your time with this. You don't want that black to go everywhere, so just concentrate it in the eyes. And once that was done, just to make him look like he's been on Naboo and he's been a little bit battered, plain male metal, and I just used a toothpick around the edges just to make him look a bit battle scarred. I've seen a lot of people do this by painting the whole thing silver first and then painting him in the ivory colour, and then coming back and scraping off the mask that they put over the silver. Absolutely fine, probably the best way to do it, not the way I did it, because I think it's just a little bit more time consuming. I did it the way that I did it, and I'm really happy with how it came out. And he is done. The Battledroid is done and dusted. Let me know what you think. So the Battledroid's all done, and I'm really pleased with how he's come out. Have I learnt anything from this build? Well, I definitely have. The part on the neck, the bit that joins the head to the actual neck part, the thin part on the top of the neck, make sure when you're doing that, you either change the infill settings to make it feel more, or you do it from a stronger material such as something like ABS, because what I found was that part is the weakest point. It's like the neck of femur in the human body. It's a thing that will break if you push it too far, if you drop it, or if it bends. What I found was the head was a bit stiff, so I just gave it a gentle little push and it snapped the neck off. So I had to reinforce it with a piece of dowel and glue it back together all again. So if you're going to make it, don't make the mistake of making that neck piece out of a just piece of PLA that's got a 15% infill. It really isn't strong enough. Put it right now, but if ever I make another one, that's what I'll do to make it different. I have made another one of these a long time ago in the past, and in a moment of madness I sold it and regretted it instantly, and that's why I've made another one today. Everything was printed on the Bamboo Labs A1. I'd really like to print one of these in the multicolour AMS to change the colours up a bit, and I might actually do that at some point moving forward, but for now I've got my Battledroid. I'm really happy with how it went. I'm glad with all the Tinkercad stuff and with how the little plaque came out. I'm really chuffed with the whole thing, and I hope you've learnt something, if you found something interesting. What would you have done different? What would you have changed, if anything? Would you have done the same colour scheme? Have you used a different colour scheme on your Battledroid? What are you using to paint yours? I think it's all interesting to juggle it up and find out what we're all doing differently. If you like what you see today, please subscribe to the channel and think about joining the Greedy 3D Patreon. It's free to join, or it will cost you a couple of quid a month if you want it to. And if you join a paid tier, I'll give you a couple of free STL files. I really want to hear what you think about this. Make sure you leave a comment, make sure you share it with your granny, and I'll see you next time on Greedy 3D. Thank you for watching.